Hey, Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. I hope I'm broadcasting out there today. It is so awesome to be with you. Well, welcome to our show today. For those of you who are new, if you're here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right now and be part of our channel before you forget. Well, welcome. For those of you new here, my name is Bob Hickman, and I am a full-time professional psychic medium. I come out of the spiritualist church background, and I've been a medium for over 30 years. So good to be with you guys. Tonight I'm wearing my SNU pin, Spiritualist National Union. I'm a member of the SNU, and I thought you'd like to see that. Actually, I might have a picture here. This might be a little easier to see. This is the logo from one of my spiritualist yearbooks. Up there, that's what my pin is. And it's a book with the sun rising, and it says light and truth. And anyways, there you go. So that's what my pin is. And the logo just says Spiritualist National Union. It says nature, nature on the book. It says nature on the page, and then truth. And it says light above it. So it's light, nature, and truth. And that's my pen. Isn't that cool? That's what I'm wearing. That's so good to be with you guys. Well, tonight we're going to have our seance. And I come from the old-time spiritualist church tradition. And in the spiritualist church, we used to always gather and go to mediums' homes and hold seances. They still do this more in Britain than in America. They have what we call home circles, where people gather. Mediums will go into trance and deliver messages. And we're gonna do that tonight. In fact, some of you said, Bob, are you really a spiritualist? There I am. There's my card from the SNU. I am a card-carrying spiritualist. Right? That's my official membership card from the SNU. Anyways, it's due. I got to renew my subscription, my membership, and get my new card. But that's my card, and that's one of my books. So anyways, I thought tonight what we do, because a lot of you have been writing and asking questions about spiritualism. Yes, I am a spiritualist, and a lot of you are asking about Wicca. So are you a Wiccan or a spiritualist? Well, I'm actually both. I practice Wicca. In fact, last night, if you didn't see it, we had a wonderful time. We did a gathering, Psychic Bob's, Lord ICN's Wicca Q&A last night. So if you missed that, see that, you'll learn about Wicca. Tonight, we're going to learn about spiritualism, because to me, the two work so nicely in my life. And people say, well, you can't be two different religions. Yes, you can. Look in Japan. Most Japanese are Shinto and Buddhist, and it works in their lives. I'm a spiritualist and a Wiccan. But some of you guys were asking, like, what do spiritualists believe? I got letters last week after the seance. And so as a member of the SNU, Spiritualist National Union out of Great Britain, I'm an American, but I belong to the spiritualist church in Britain because I have a lot in common with them. I thought I would read to you the principles of the faith of spiritualism as it is taught in the SNU, Spiritualist National Union. All right. Spiritualism, by the way, is based on 7 principles in the United Kingdom. And these are the 7 principles. Okay. So it says, it's right here in the book, members of the Spiritualist National Union recognize the following 7 principles. Number 1, the fatherhood of God. 2, the brotherhood of man. 3, the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. 4, the continuous existence of the human soul. 5, personal responsibility. 6, compensation and retribution hereafter for all the good and evil deeds done on earth. 7, eternal progress open to every soul. So that's the 7 principles of spiritualism. We'll do future videos where we go into more detail on that. But just for now, just think about those, okay? And that will hopefully help you have a little insight more to the background that I come from. All right? But tonight we're really going to focus on point number 3 in our seance, which is the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. So those who we bring through today, who come from the other side, will be bringing us hopefully some insight, some wisdom, and some help from the spirit world. And if you've never been to a seance, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be scared of. In fact, it's really quite lovely. What happens is during my seance, when I'm going to go into a trance state, the spirits will overshadow me. And as they overshadow me, they project their power through me and they will speak to you. Okay. So I hope you'll learn something tonight and enjoy being here. And I welcome all of you for your time and joining. Also, I should let you guys know that don't forget to go over to my website, PsychicBob.com, and register for this weekend's psychic development class. On Saturday, I'll be teaching a class on spirit portals because the veil at this time of year is thin. A lot of people are having spirit activity. So if you want to learn about spirit portals, what they are, how to handle them, how to work with it as part of your psychic development, go join our class. It's only $30. It's 2 hours. It'll be Saturday from 12 p.m. till 2 p.m. And I would love to have you there. Go to my website, PsychicBob.com. Cola will put it in the chat for us. And you can register. Just pay over there through PayPal, and you're in. And on Saturday, I'll send out the link Saturday morning before our class. So I hope you'll join us, okay? I'd love to see you at our psychic class. Well, it is so wonderful to have all of you here tonight. I need to turn off some other lights. Hold on just a second. I just realized I left a light over. So I'll be right back. Many mediums like to hold seances in either the dark or in a red light. Tonight we're going to work in the red light because I'm not doing physical mediumship. I'm doing trance work. But I like to work in the red light because if we're in the red light, if anything physical happens, we get a chance to see it as well. So I'm just so glad you guys are here. And I want to say thank you for joining us tonight. There's Scott from South Carolina. He says, please push the thumbs up. Thank you, Scott. Blessings to you. Thank you for being here. Well, I'm so glad you guys are here. I see a lot of you here. There's Denise D. and Sandra D. and Scott. And there's Baroness Kolobob. She's our moderator. She has the wrench. If anybody gets out of trouble or harasses you in chat tonight, let her know, okay? There's Kimmy. There's my sister's keeper. Hello, welcome. There's Denise T. I'm so glad you guys are here. Listen, first of all, thank you for being here. I hope wherever you are tonight, you're having fun. And if you were here in my house, literally, we would literally put our chairs in a circle and I'd turn down the lights. So even though you're far away, we're going to virtually have our seance circle. So I want you to pull up to your computer and know that you're joining our circle tonight. And I thank you for being here. So I thought we'd just do a brief invocation to do spirit, and then I'll go into trance, okay? Thank you so very much. All right, well, just join me as we do a little prayer here, okay? Just center yourselves, relax. Mother, Father, God, thank you for the chance to gather. Thank you for the wisdom that you bring. We invite now those who would come from the spirit world, from the other side, to guide us, to teach us, to love us, and to support us. We ask that only the highest and best spirits come through, and that no trouble come to us this night. We thank you for our friends here who have gathered. And we ask, Father, Mother, God, that you will bring a blessing to everybody who attends our circle tonight. Give them an inspiration. Give them a sign from Spirit. Help them in the next week to know that their presence here has opened their connection to you and to those who love them in spirit. Whether they receive a message or not, let them receive a sign in the next week for having taken the time to be here. Thank you for hearing our prayer. We open now the spirit door, the door to the other side, and we welcome those who come to commune with us. So mote it be. Amen and amen. All right, well, I'm going to bring down the lights and I'm going to settle down here. It's kind of dark in here. We're in the red light. Isn't that wonderful? All right. Well, I'm going to settle down, and I will see you guys in just a little while, okay? Thank you so very much for joining us this night. Oh, there we go. Give us just a moment. We've got to get control of the medium's vibration. Oh, there we go. I think we're in the body. Well, top of the day to you. This is Fletcher. So nice to be with all of you here. And I must say, we always love to come to visit with you, because this group that seems to gather here every week, they've got a lot of soul glow around them. Soul glow means that your heart is full of love and that you're listening for the guidance from Spirit. And so many of you send out good thoughts to our world, saying, Spirit, help us. And we're always pleased to come and help you. So we come here tonight to bring you a little help from our world, from over in the spirit world. And we're mighty thankful for our medium here that allows us to use his body to come through to bring messages to you. Well, I've got a few people be wanting to speak at you tonight. So I'll be stepping for the medium, and we thank you for gathering. This is Fletcher, over and out. Yes, Fletcher, I do believe we have the body. Power's a little weak. Can you raise the vibration? Good evening, this is Alfred. I believe we are coming through the medium. Fletcher, we've stabilized the frequency. We have attained the body, yes. Good evening. Many of you here tonight have gathered because you have heard our voices call to you. When we who live in the spirit world speak to those of you on earth, we speak in a whisper. We speak into your inner ear, your inner mind. Our voices do not always boom forth as this voice that comes through him now is speaking to you. We come in a subtle way. But when we have a medium's body, we can use the nervous system and the vocal cords to manifest our frequency so that you can hear us clearly. We thank you for joining with us this night. When I was a young man upon the earth, I believed in spiritualism, much to the chagrin of my family. My family were very devout Protestants, Anglicans, Presbyterians. Our family was split between a few churches. But the one thing that they did not believe in was spiritualism. And when as a young man I started to attend the spiritualist church, it created much furor in my household. Some of you here are in a similar condition. You want to follow the spirit world, yet you feel as if you cannot follow the spirit world. We who live over here will help you and guide you. We understand that the circumstances are difficult for many of you. But what is important is that you have an inner communion with the spirit world. You do not always have to have outward shows by attending churches and putting on a big show about your beliefs. Spiritualism is a quiet belief. It is inside the heart, inside the mind. The very best spiritualists, in fact, you would never know a spiritualist, for they do not prance about putting on a show. We do not find the show spiritualist to be worth much. A true spiritualist knows in their heart what is true, that God, or as we call God, infinite intelligence, guides their lives. If you think that you are called to be a spiritualist, simply say to infinite intelligence, I give you permission to guide me. Help me. I shall be open to your inspirations. And then ask for infinite intelligence, or God as you might, to send to you help, a friend from the other side. Each of you here tonight already have been guided by the spirit world. For some of you, I have come to you tonight, as well as other spirit guides. But know that it is a collective effort from those of us who dwell here to help those of you who live there. So with a little effort, you can embrace the truths of spiritualism. If you have a spiritualist church and can attend, that is all good and well. But many of you cannot or do not know it is not available to you. If it is not available, then begin in your heart. The heart is where it begins, and it is the heart where it will end. Someday each of you will leave the earth. If you have cultivated a communion in your heart with the spirit world, upon your deaths, you will already have that connection, and it will be an easier transition. So know that spiritualism is not only in the churches and on display, it is really truly within the heart of each person. If you can study the teachings of the great spiritualists, the writings of people such as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, or other spiritualists such as Leslie Flint, or others such as this other medium's guide, Doris Stokes, each of them have books and will help you on your journey. You might also read the writings of Arthur Findlay. He was an amazing man. I read many of his works during my lifetime. He founded the Arthur Findlay College for Mediumship in Stansted, England. His writings are inspired as well. He was led by the spirit world to seances, where he opened the door to learning the truth of life, the truth of death, the truth of life after death. Yes, there is life eternal, and this is the guiding principle of spiritualism. We hope that you will consider these points. We thank you for receiving us this night. My name is Alfred. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give us just a moment here to get control of the medium's frequency. Well, there we go. Well, we got a lovely lass back here, been pacing about, waiting to speak to you. And I shan't keep her much longer. Greetings, my dears. My name is Rose. I'm always so inspired when I get to listen to Alfred or Fletcher. These souls have such accumulated wisdom. I often wonder how my life would have turned out differently had I not been so full of myself, had I been humble enough to embrace a spiritual word here and there. Oh, I do say that once in a while I went to my church and I listened to my vicar, but only with half an ear, my dear, and only with a quarter of my heart. I professed great things on the earth, to love God and support the church, but you know it was all for show. It was not real, at least not the way it should be. I was listening in earlier as our medium was reading those principles of the spiritualist church. And do you know, my neighbor Madge was a devout spiritualist, and she was part of that, what do they call it, the Spiritualists National Union. Yeah, she belonged to that. And in fact, I do believe she one time gave me a pamphlet from the church. It had those very 7 principles on it. And as I read them, I thought, oh, interesting, whatever. You know, I really did not invest much in the spiritual truths in my life. I thought that if I just would give money to the church, it was quite enough. But my dear, that is not the way to heaven. One does not purchase one's soul light. One earns one's place in heaven through alignment with truth and with light. You know, there's a wonderful thing here that we share, the Anglican Church shares with the spiritualists. These days, I would definitely consider myself a spiritualist, but on earth I was an Anglican. But they say in the spiritualist principles, we believe in the fatherhood of God. In the Anglican Church, they often talked about God the Father. Interestingly, the spiritualists also believe in God the Mother. I did not know about that. I was not so sure. But I can tell you, since coming to the spirit world, that divinity governs all life. God is beyond comprehension. And so this is why we often say infinite intelligence. God is not a man with a beard. God is a consciousness, a light of being, a being of light, I should say, who reaches throughout all the cosmos to bring life and love to all things. Love and light are the sustaining powers of the entire cosmos. Can you imagine what would happen to the universe were that spiritual light and love to be withdrawn? The world that you live in would turn to dust and decay. I know some of you say, Rose, my car is already rusting and decaying. I don't see spiritual love there. In the material world, things are limited. They exist only for a time. My mistake in my life was that I thought everything was eternally here and now on the earth. I invested heavily in my own image. I believed that I would live forever on earth. I never thought really about death. I said, well, that's for other people, you know. But eventually our bodies age and decay. Eventually, all the things that you treasure will fade away. Think back to many years ago. Some of you may remember going to a special event and wearing a lovely ball gown. I know some of you ladies know of this. Where is that gown today? I bet for many of you, you've lost it, or it's faded away, or just worn away to nothing. Everything in the material world is temporary. But I could not understand that point at the time. And so I lived my life seeking after material things, only in the end to find that nothing was permanent. Everything that exists is upheld and sustained by divine light and divine love. But in the earth realm, because the vibration is so dense, that power cannot sustain even in this realm. But where that power is most acutely felt is inside of your hearts, inside of your minds and souls, yes, your spirit. And that is where the true power lies. So do not be enamored by all this worldly show, my dear. It all comes and goes very quickly. And in eternity, and believe me, my dears, it is an eternity, though you doubt it, many of you, the spirit world will show you eternity. It is through this medium's work and his belief in eternity that I am able to come through to him. Do you know, many years ago, he held a special seance to help lost souls, trapped souls, souls that were wandering in darkness. And it was through his mediumship that I was liberated and brought over to the light. I have a great and immense eternal debt of gratitude for him and for his other spirit guides who helped me to cross to the light. This is why I'm most eager to serve. When you're rescued from drowning or dying, and it was almost like dying in that darkness. You cannot die in the spirit world, but it felt like I was suffocating and dying in the darkness. To be liberated from that place of expiation and sorrow is a great joy to the soul. When I came over into the light, it became very apparent to me that my own clothing was rather grey and dingy. That on earth I wore the finest of clothes, but in the spirit world I wore a simple sheath of greyish white, not very impressive, especially when those I looked round at were dressed in the most radiant, glowing white, with a radiance that could be blinding to the earthly eyes. And I said, "Where are my fine clothes?" And they said, "Rose, over here. You must earn your beauty, your degrees of light. You don't come to heaven in glow. The very fact you're here should bring you peace. But if you wish to glow like those other souls that you see, you must work on your love, work on loving your neighbor, work on loving infinite intelligence." And it became acutely aware to me very quickly that I had not loved in my life. So if you don't know where to go, if you feel overwhelmed by the thought of embracing spiritual life, simply start with love. And from love, all things will manifest. If you don't believe in God, you see, we don't expect you to believe blindly. For some of you, this is very difficult. Start with love. Love your neighbor. Your neighbor you can see. God you cannot see, at least not with your human eyes. But in time, God will reveal himself. And so don't start with God. Start with loving your neighbor. I think a far easier task. You know, my neighbor Madge used to tell me the very same thing. And I used to think, well, I love my neighbor. I give money to the church. But again, I did not love. I'd never spent a moment helping a suffering soul. I never visited the sick. I never gave money to really help a family in need. No, my dears, there's so much that we can do and should do upon the earth. So start with loving your neighbor, and your spiritual life will have an immense beginning just from that point. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give us just a moment. We have to adjust the frequency. There we go, Fletcher. I think. Oh, my dear, the power suddenly faded. I cannot explain it. Sometimes it happens. But thank you for receiving me. While I'm here tonight, I should like to bring a few words of insight and hope to some of you gathered here tonight. And I do hope that you allow me to come over and speak with you this night. I should like to speak, first of all, to my dear friend, Kim Osborne. Ms. Osborne, you know, in my day, we never called anybody by their first name. It feels a little awkward for me to call her Kim, but that is how I've heard her spoken of. Kim Osborne. My dear, we've spoken before, and I suppose I don't have to always be so formal. But I want to come here tonight just first of all to tell you that the spirit world is going to sustain you in your financial growth and opportunities. In 2023, you shall have even more opportunities for growth. You may have an opportunity for a step up, an increase, a promotion. But we also see coming to you other opportunities. And we think that in January and February, if you should decide to do some changes, this would be an optimal time for you to seek out help in your financial situation. Whilst I'm here tonight, I have somebody who'd like to say hello to you. Let's see if we can bring him through. Just a moment, my dear. Fletcher, can you help us? Kimmy, can you hear me? It's Daddy. It's your daddy here. Oh, I'm so happy, hon. I'm so happy I got the chance to come over and speak to you. I love you very much, and I'm doing all right over here. You remember those last few weeks of my life, I wasn't doing so well, and I was failing. But you always prayed for me, and I cannot forget it. I shall not ever forget it. It's really true what they're saying to you tonight, that love is where it all starts. You know, I always did have a belief in God. But belief isn't just enough, my dear. You have to live that belief. And I think you know that. Anyways, you always loved me and you gave me hope. When things weren't looking so good and I wasn't feeling so strong, you always turned to God. It helped me. Those little efforts, those little prayers, sometimes people think that it ain't worth much. But it's worth a lawful lot to a soul who's about to go to heaven. And I want to let you know that I made it to heaven. I know some members of our family were saying, well, I don't know, he like to drink a little bit. He might not be right with God. I understand why they said it. I sometimes carried on a little crazy. I did. But I tell you one thing. It's really true that God is love. When I stood before that beautiful light, you know, when I was leaving, I just saw the light and I was drawn to it like a moth to a flame. And that light is what restored me. I thought at first I was dreaming because I hadn't been, so clear in my mind the last few days. I was so tired. But then when I went to the light, I woke up. I guess you could say I woke up. And I came to understand how much love was given to me in my life and how it made an imprint, a literal imprint on my soul. So, honey, keep loving, keep praying. Your daddy's in heaven because of you. They said that had I not had you into my life, I might have gone a different path. We always have the choices. I guess I chose the right path because I'm here now. I love you, honey. You're going to be okay. And I'm throwing some money over from heaven to you, so you be watching for it. They said I got to go now, darling. I love you. There we go. My dear Rose, can you hear me? Miss Osborne, or should I say Kim, my dear, thank you for letting us bring him through. I do hope that you were able to hear him. He's making immense progress over here in the spirit world. And is very happy and very much at peace. And my dear, do not trouble yourself. He is in the light, and he is helping you from the spirit world. I thank you, my dear. My blessings to you. Whilst I'm here, I should like to speak to another person, if I might. Her name is Marjona. Marjona, this is Rose. Can you hear me? I know we've spoken before, my dear, and I'm so thrilled to have the opportunity to be here with you. I've heard our medium speaking, and he's given you a funny, cute little nickname. You know, in England, we have nicknames. We call people by their nicknames. For example, the Duke of Westminster was a friend of mine. You know, we used to call him West. They say, hey, West. It was actually his Grace, the Duke of Westminster. I used to call him West. Well, anyways, our medium says, your nickname is Marzi. I believe that's how it said. Marzi? I don't know. English American accent's a little different. We'd say Marzi, but he said, I think, Marzi. Well, my dear, I think it's an adorable name. My dear, whilst I'm here, I wish to discuss with you about your own journey. You've been very pulled and stressed lately by many forces. You're ready to grow, my dear, but you're a little fearful of change. Try to understand that all things in the material world are temporary, as we were discussing earlier this evening. And if you be willing to change, in the new year, you could have a new job, which would bring you much more joy, a little more money, and a lot less stress. Life, my dear, is too short to hold on to fear and to anxiety and to stress. You must rest your mind, my dear. Slow down. Do not rush about here and there. And remember, my dear, to pray. Your grandmother was a great warrior of prayer. She was a prayer warrior, she was. And she's here tonight. She would like to say hello to you. Ania is here for you, my dear. Marjana, this is Ania. Can you hear me? We are so thankful for this medium that he allows us to come through, to speak to you. Many times, you don't see me, I be there. I pray for you often. I pray, always for your well-being, for your safety. This is a life that you live, a very dangerous life sometimes. The people drive so fast in these cars and they act crazy and drinking and drugs. Many people in heaven pray for the state of the earth. I pray for you every day. Your grandfather and I pray for you often. Over here there's a beautiful place. It is a recreation of a place in Poland called Jasna Gora. And I go to the light. It is the mountain of light. And I commune with Our Lady there. Our Lady of Chesochova is a very powerful woman. She is truly of God, of the light. So I will pray for you every day. And she knows your problem too. You tell Mary, she never forgets you. And she helps you each day. I hope you receive my message. I pray also for your mama and papa. They getting healing from spirit. I pray for them, and there's some new doctors come and bring healing. Your father must be careful with blood pressure. His blood pressure sometimes it go high. He's got to fix the diet a little bit. You tell him, and he has said, we should watch, Your mama, she's a long-suffering, pray for everybody. But she sometimes forget that the God can help her. She worry when she should pray. So you tell mama, you say, Mama, Ania said, pray, not worry. It's no do good for family. Well, my dear, I love you very much. I cannot stay. I will come to you soon. I'll talk to you at night when you sleep. I love you very, very much. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give us just a moment here. There we go. Can you hear me, my dears? This is Rose. Oh, my. Marjana was so very pleased that she was able to come through this evening. Our medium's abilities are expanding. There was a time when only he could channel Fletcher, and his body could not sustain other frequencies. But in the last year, he's had an increase in his light quotient. And Leslie Flint is working with him to strengthen the channel as well. Marjana, thank you for being here this evening. Your grandmother was very pleased to come and see you. I send my blessings to you, my dear. Whilst I'm here, I should also like to speak to another person this evening. Christine, my dear, Miss Caprillion, do you mind if I call you by your first name? I've known you for a long time, my dear, but I don't know. It's my generation. We never used first names. I was addressed as Lady So-and-so. Well, my name, Rose, my dear, is not actually my true name. It is the name that I have given for this medium. My family are members of the nobility, the aristocracy, and still reside in London. And were it known that I were coming through him, it would create problems for this medium. But I was a lady in my day, and I was addressed as Lady, well, I shan't give my name, but I was titled, my dear. Anyways, I don't know. It's, I suppose, my generation, as I say, that we're a bit more formal. But I would try to call you Christine, though it's a little strange for me. Do you know my neighbor Madge? It's strange. She's the only person I called by her first name. She used to call me Rose, and I would call her Madge. Strange thing, you know. It's funny that actually the name that I gave this medium actually came from Madge. You see, she used to say, well, I grew roses in my garden. And she said, Rose, you have a lovely garden. I'm going to start calling you Rose of the Roses. I suppose that name stuck, but that was not my true name. My dear, whilst I'm here, I have a special person who'd like to come and say hello to you. So I do hope you'll receive this. Just a moment. Let's see. The medium has not brought him through before, but we're going to give it a go. Let's see if he can sustain the frequency. Well, here it is, many years, and I'm still speaking. You know, when I retired on the earth, I kind of just faded away. They said, well, there he goes into the sunset. And I did, I suppose, in many ways go into the sunset. But when my mind started to fade, a new mind, a new world opened up to me. Many times when I appeared to be faded away, I was actually walking in the spirit world. Though it was hard for people to understand, I knew very well that this is what was told to me in my younger days. I had a minister in my church said, Ron, someday, he said, you'll close your eyes to earth and you'll open them in eternity. And, well, I suppose it's true. My only regret in life was that my beloved Nancy had to suffer. And, you know, she didn't understand what was happening. I mean, she understood it was Alzheimer's, but, you know, she didn't understand that I wasn't suffering. I was actually walking in beautiful gardens and you know, making friends on the other side, and even made friends with a few Democrats along the way. Now, who would have believed that? Who'd have thought they'd have got to heaven? But they did. All joking aside, politics really has no sphere in this spiritual world. It doesn't really matter. It's true what this fine lady Rose is telling you, that your heart is what matters. I tried to do the best I could on earth, to be a good leader and to love, but well, I didn't always succeed with that. But God is a good God and very merciful. And so I was ushered out of the earth life into to eternity, I suppose you could say. Christine, I wanted to come and well, just give you some encouragement. This next year for you, it's going to be a lot better. We know that you've suffered an awful lot, but you know, as I like to say, and they used to say of me, win one for the Gipper, and it's your time to step up and shine. That financial situation's going to improve. I've been looking at the economy. You know, over here, I take great interest still of the things of the earth. And, well, your party, well, we're going to hope we can get some more influence there and get things turned around. But politics aside, I'm interested in your own well-being, and I'm going to help you. So I do hope you'll remember that, listen for my guidance. I'm going to give you a little help with the clients, and we'll try to pull them into you. So you've got my support. And as for that political stuff, Nancy says that she's working in the background to get you some more positions soon. So over here and help. And I thank you for letting me come and speak to you. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give us just a moment here. I think Rose has something else to say. Oh, there we go. I think we're in the body, Fletcher. Oh, can you hear me there? Oh, Christine, what a pleasure that a president would come and visit you. Oh, my dear, it speaks volumes of you. And we're very thrilled that he could be with us this evening. Whilst I'm here, I should like to speak to a few others here, if I may. Christine, thank you for your time this evening. But I have to use the power before it fades. I should also like to speak to my dear friend, Lady Kohler. Lady Kohler, my dearest Rose, can you hear me? We're so very thankful for your friendship. I can tell you, my dear, I've been, well, I should say, veritably beating my head against the wall over this last few days. It seems as if there is a spirit of uncooperation that is moving in your area. Your council have been impossible to deal with. But that being said, my dear, I'm still using my influence. And I do think in the next week we shall have an opportunity to get you in front of your councillors to be able to move that housing situation forward. I cannot promise it, my dear, for human free will is its own device, and we cannot even, the most powerful of spirits, make people do anything. We can only use our influence to inspire, to direct, to guide. But I've been working on a number of people at your council, and I do think, my dear, that we'll get them to go through. And you will be hearing very soon of some opportunities. You have great adventures coming, and we're looking forward to traveling around London town with you. You will be traveling around London in December, and it will be a great and joyous time for you. And who knows, I might even direct both of you to Mayfair district, and you might even see my home. Whilst I'm here, I have another person I'd like to say hello to, my dear. Just a moment. And she gets so nervous, thinking that it's all over. It ain't over. I love us, Doris here. Listen, Rose is telling it like it is. It's been a little rough here. People aren't listening like they ought to. They're a little stubborn, a little hard-headed. But don't worry, old Doris is working it out. You know, it was interesting because there was a person that I spoke with over here in the spirit world this week. And she was like, I had such a fear of death. And then when I died, it was so simple. And she said, and then I discovered I lived again. I said, well, you can't die for the life of you. That's what I've been trying to tell people for years. I'm still preaching that over here in heaven. You know, the spirits have been awful good to me all my life. They would come and speak to me at gatherings and sittings. And I suppose I was very fortunate. I was. And, you know, I get to have a good opportunity to come and help you and all of you here. When we come over through a medium at such a gathering, it's not just, you know, to speak to only one person. Though, Nicola, we're here for you. We're also speaking to the rest of the lot. Many of you here think, is there life after death? Well, I'm here to tell you. Now, if you look me up, you'll know. I said, oh, that's that Lady Doris. And that's right, I tell you, you cannot die for the life of you. So, Cola, I'm here also to help you with some physical ailments. You've been having a little vitamin deficiency. And that deficiency has made you tired and a little weak. My dear, you got to have a doctor to help you. I'm trying to tell you directly. I've been trying to speak through this medium, but I don't think you're hearing me. So I had to come again tonight. We'll turn it around, my dear. You ain't going to lose your hair, and you ain't going to fall apart, and you ain't going to go into the ground. And even if you do, you'll come over here and we'll have a grand old time. But listen, my dear, know that you got a lot of love coming over from our world, and you're not forgotten. Your grandma's over here as well. She sends a greeting over to you. She said she's making you some sandwiches. She's trimming the crusts off for you. She's going to be around you, dear. Oh, sometimes you feel like you're alone, but you ain't. You're never alone. You know you got a friend in me, and your Grams is over here. You got a friend in her. Oh, so much help coming to you. You got to chin up, be strong, be brave. You got a lot to do in the next few weeks and few months. I tell you, you're going to be settled in, and we're working on it, my dear. All right, where? Rose says I got to step out. But I send my love to you, putting healing around you. Listen for your Graham's voice. She can't come through the medium tonight. They said there's not enough power. But she's with you, my dear. I send you love. Oh, there we go. What a lovely lady she is. You know, it's so interesting that I was alive during the time when Doris was starting out in her mediumship. And I think my neighbor Madge actually had a sitting with her at one point. But you know, it's strange. I was not into spiritualism. And so I never met Doris. You could say we're opposite sides of the town. She was East End, I was West End. Isn't that funny, my dear? Nicola, my dear, Lady Nicola, please know that you're not walking alone. And we know about the spirits that you've been working with, and you have our approval. Please, my dear, continue through on your case. You're going to help put a soul at rest. And this is the beginning of much more of your work to come in the future. We thank you, my dear, for receiving us. My blessings, you always, my dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You dear. Yes, Fletcher. You also. This is Fletcher. Give us just a moment here. There we go, my dears. I think we're in the body. This is Rose again. Whilst I'm here, I should like to also speak to another friend of mine. I do not wish to give your name out publicly, so I'll call you by your nickname. Blue Eyes 85. Good evening, Blue Eyes. My name is Rose. We've not had the opportunity to properly speak, but I want to thank you very much for your kind support here for this medium. Each day he works tirelessly for the spirit world, but also for humanity. And those of us who dwell on the other side notice the souls who are drawn to him. Your soul glow is very bright, my dear. You have a lot of good coming into your life. We know that the last year for you has been a bit of a challenge and a bit of sorrow. But we want you to know that you have many people in spirit that are around you. I believe there's a male here that wants to come through. Hold on just a moment. We can bring him through. We're going to try. We do not know. We must be honest with you, my dear. The medium's power is fading a little bit, but Fletcher says, let's give it a go. Just a moment. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm so sorry I left you when I did. I couldn't help it. My body failed. In my life, I guess I never really thought about it. I just kind of thought I was going to live forever. I guess we all do that, don't we? It's hard for me to speak. I'm not used to this. I send a greeting over to you. I want you to know that I have seen you and I've heard you talk to me. I was standing by your bed the other night. I don't know if you felt me, but I touched your hair and I said it's eyes. But I don't know if you felt me. I wasn't always good when you were younger, growing up. I kind of feel like I was so busy all the time. I could have given more time to you, and I'm sorry I didn't. But you seemed to love me no matter how imperfect I was. And your love has helped me over here to find peace. If I could come back today, I would. My lungs are much stronger, though it's hard to speak through a medium. When I came over, the first thing I did was took a deep breath. The air here is pure. The funny part is, we don't actually have to breathe here. But I needed fresh air. My lungs were heavy towards the end. Fluid buildup, and it was hard for me to breathe, and I was so tired. But I'm okay. I remember when you were younger as well. There was a time when we were traveling in the car, and I looked over at you and I thought, you're growing up beautifully. Made me think of when I was young. How fast it all passes. I want to also say to you that I remember the time. And you and I were walking that time, and I said to you, remember when we were laughing? I said the power's going. I'm sorry. I only have a minute. I'm sorry. I can't sustain it. I love you. I'm in the light. Oh, there we go. Blue Eyes 85, my dear. We're so sorry. It's the first time this medium was able to bring them through. And unfortunately, it was a bit of a strain on him. But we do hope you got to hear his voice and know that your father is in the light. He is always well with his soul, my dear. You need not fear. We thank you for letting us attempt to bring him through. And hopefully in the future, we can establish a better connection. But you know our medium's power is growing. There was a time, as I said earlier, where he could not even only bring through but one voice. And this evening he's brought through many, and we're very proud of him. I thank you for letting us try this evening, and I do hope you're not too disappointed with us. Please call upon me. My name is Rose, and I shall help you as you heal during this time of sorrow. My blessings to you, my dear. Oh, this is Fletcher. Give us just a moment. It looks like the medium's power is waning tonight. So we'll let Rose finish off what she had to say. I thank you for being here tonight. There we go, my dears. Yes, unfortunately, the medium's power is starting to wane, and I'm so thankful, though, that we'd have the opportunity to visit with each of you tonight. Please know, for those of you who are not able to directly speak to, that you are loved very much by us. There's only one medium and his power is limited. So we do what we can with what we've got to work with. But any opportunity to come to speak to all of you here, it is truly brings joy to all of us in the spirit world. As you go into your days and nights, I want each of you to remember to listen for our guidance. As Alfred has said earlier, is that each of you will receive a blessing for having gathered tonight. And I should also like to wish to echo that sentiment. In the next week, each of you will receive a sign from the spirit world. And you'll say, I know that came from the spirit world. And it is your reward from us, for you, for being here tonight. My dear, thank you for listening to all of us who come to speak. We do hope that you will continue on your efforts of exploration into the world of spirit. I know that it will bring us all great joy to be able to commune again. My dear, the power is starting to go. I'm so sorry I cannot stay longer with you. But I do thank you. And I do hope, wherever you are, you will remember upon me. You'll say, maybe I shall be there in just a jiffy, squeeze like to let you know, to wake out. So blessings from spirit. Whew. Just a second, guys. A little lightheaded when I come back from channeling. I can't see the chat. There's all this stuff on the screen. Whew. Hello. Oh my gosh. Here's JB. He says, great seance. Thank you, JB. Did anybody come through? I heard Rose earlier just for a snippet, but Robert says he's back. Kimmy says, thank you, Baron. Have a blessed evening. You're welcome. Thank you. Glad you're here. It's nice to be able to hold a seance. So I don't have a headache, Amsterdam, so I'm just a little lightheaded. I don't know what you're talking about, Republicans. I have to go back and see the tape. Blue Eyes. Hi, Blue Eyes. Blesses Bob. Thank you so much. You and Rose brought my dad through. Are you serious? Oh, I have to go back and watch this. When I channel, just so you guys know, I don't remember or retain what goes through me. I'm in a state of trance and it just starts pouring through me. So I don't really know until I go watch the seance what happens or what has happened. Ronald Reagan. Okay. Ronald Reagan came through? Okay. That's interesting. Oh, it was spoken to someone else's message tonight. Blue Eyes 85 says, I am literally speechless. Thank you so much. Well, I got to go see this. I don't know. I'm glad they came through. I don't know who comes through me. So, I mean, Fletcher's my gatekeeper. Hopefully he was here. I knew Rose was here. I heard her at one point. When I'm in trance, sometimes I hear a snippet or two of the words or people talking, but I don't really retain it. Thank you, Melinda. Melinda says, oh my God, that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well, guys, it sounds like it was a good night tonight. Cosmic Jesus says, thank you for the session, Bob, and others. Blessings and good night. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that people came through. It sounds like people were happy. So, the one thing that happens when we do seance is I can never guarantee anybody will come through. I have had seances where nobody comes through and it's just dead silent. I don't know why. They say it's like the frequency or the energy isn't strong enough and the voices don't last. So I never know. Angela Prayer Pump says, he was, and so was Rose. I'd worry if they didn't show because they're here every time. Sometimes they don't come. It's weird. I mean, it's not that they don't want to come, but it's like my physical body can't bring them through. Like they've told me, like Fletcher one time said, he said, it's your energy. We have to work within your body's limits. Because see what happens when you channel, we're going to do more classes in the psychic development on trance work. What happens is that it affects the body's nervous system. So you can actually have a medium get damaged and their body nervous system be damaged. That's why Fletcher, he's like what we call gatekeeper. He controls the energy flow that comes through my body for my own protection. There's Scott from South Carolina. Scott says, I go into a trance when you do your seance. That's cool. Well, that's a mediumship ability there, Scott. I love that. Well, you should put a recorder on, Scott, because you might be channeling stuff during the seance and not even know it. Then you come out of your trance and you might have channeled, didn't realize. So I would seriously put on a voice recorder and just see what happens, Hey, there's Colleen Radabaugh. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you. Hi, Bob. I missed it. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it'll be in replay. You can go see it. Here's Kathleen Barrow says, following. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Yay. There's Lady Bree. Oh, Lady Bree just gave Rose a rose. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Lady Bree. I'm sure she loves that. I love it. Amsterdam says, whoa, I didn't know that, Bob. Yeah, when I come back, I really don't know. I have to go watch the tapes. I can't answer questions about what came through because I don't know what happened. It's funny how it is like that. Oh, thank you. Damien Devine said, I always feel more understanding of the ways of the spirit world from these seances. I'm so glad, Damien. There aren't many people nowadays that hold these are kind of traditional style spiritualist seances. You don't see a lot of it anymore. So I feel like as a spiritualist, it's my duty to be of service to people and to the spirits. Dawn Chan says it was the best one yet. Well, thank you. You have a lot of confidence. Thank you so much. Bob's Rose says we are going on a mission. Oh, I got to see that. Okay, well, I'll look it up. All right. Yeah, well, definitely. I can't say what it is until I see what she says. Oh, thank you, Glenn. Glenn Ing says, agreed, one of the best. Thank you so much. Lady Jane of the Earl Grey Tea Tribe writes, I get so much healing from these seances and so much calmness of spirit. You guys are going to make me cry. It's so beautiful. I'm so honored because, when I used to do seances years ago, when I started seances, nobody came, nobody liked them, nobody appreciated them. And I'm so honored that it really is drawing people, that the spirit is working. Blue Eyes 85 says, thank you so much, Bob and Rose. You're amazing. Such an earth angel. Blessings to you. Thank you. Well, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up because it's late now and I have to have some dinner. Then I got a full day of readings tomorrow. So I hope you'll forgive me if I skip out on you right now. There's Kathleen Barris says, I missed the beginning. I hope you send notifications on the next line. I try to send out notifications. Something's wrong with YouTube. They're not sending out my notices. So it's not me, it's YouTube that's doing it. But since you're subscribed, Kathleen, thank you, by the way, for your subscription. Make sure to click the bell, the notification bell, because there's a lot of people, their channels are being targeted. They're being unsubscribed and stuff. So double check it, tomorrow. All right. Listen, guys, if you get a chance, go over to my website tonight, PsychicBob.com, and register for the Saturday Psychic Development Class. It's only $30, 2 hours one-on-one training with me. I limit the class to 30 people, so it fills up. So you don't want to miss it. But I'd love to have you in our class. If you're interested, we're going to discuss spirit portals. And I'm going to teach you how to work with that. Thank you, Jane. Jane says, beautiful seance. So cool to hear Ronald Reagan. So Ronald Reagan did come through. Is that true? People are saying Ronald. I didn't know what they're talking about. I've never channeled him before that I'm aware of. Wow. All right. Well, we'll have to see. That's amazing. Oh, my gosh. Listen, guys, I want to say thank you for being here. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next Thursday, we'll do another seance. Every Thursday night, Kathleen Barrow, for you who are new here, every Thursday night at 7 p.m., you just put it on your calendar. I run this channel like on a schedule so that people can know to be here. But every Thursday, we gather for our spirit circle, our seance. And like I said at the beginning, if you were here, I'd have everybody in my living room just sitting in chairs in a circle, and we do the same thing. But it's now we can do it virtually. So each week you can join our circle at 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. It's 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. For those of you in Europe, it's midnight London time, 1 a.m. Paris time. So I hope you'll join us each week. Thursday nights for our Thursday night seance. Love to have you. All right, guys, listen. Big shout out to Baroness Colbus. Thank you for being moderator, Baroness. You're awesome. Thanks for standing guard over the circle while I was away in trance. You rock. Everybody give a thumbs up and shout out for Baroness as well. You guys are the best. Thank you. Baroness just putting in the chat my link, PsychicBob.com. So make sure to go visit that, okay? All right. Stardust, he says, thanks, Colabobs. Lovely message. Indeed, I'm getting emotional. Oh, so you got a message too. Good. Well, guys, thank you. I love all of you. We'll be back here tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Friday, live psychic readings. Be here 7 p.m. on Friday night. Live readings. I hope to see you guys there. And blessed be. Thank you and good night.